I'm Kyla Cofer, and this is episode 7. Wow, I can't believe that we're 7 episodes in already. Launching a podcast is something I honestly never thought that I would do. And here we are, 7 episodes in, which I think is just amazing and remarkable. So I'm learning a ton, and I really hope that you are learning as well. I would love to hear from you. I want to hear what you're loving about this podcast. What are you hoping will come up in this podcast? I'm going to be bringing in some guest speakers soon, and I want to know what kinds of topics do you want us to talk about? And I'll take those suggestions as I'm researching and I'm bringing together these amazing speakers for you, because I really want this to be just a place where you can come for 20 minutes a week and get some new ideas, some fresh perspectives, some things that you may not have had time to look through to really think about through the week because you've been busy with being this awesome leader that you are. So that is my hope here, is that I could just really bring this as a resource to you, because we as leaders, we have to have support. We have to have a team around us. You've already seen in your leadership positions, there are things that you don't know. There are things that you come up with that you feel insecure about or unsure about or afraid of, or you get stuck on, or you having to make decisions that you didn't feel like you were ready for. The list is so long. As leaders, we're constantly learning and growing and coming up with new things and trying to find new ways of doing things and to bring people with us and trying to teach people and mentor people and lead the way. And there's so many things that come up with that. There's so many just new things to learn and things to see. So my hope here is that as this podcast continues and grows that and develops, that we'll be able to breed like a community of a resource and support system for you to get those resources that you are needing to really increase your leadership, help you grow and feel a lot stronger in your leadership. And also just to feel that there's some camaraderie, that you have people that you can turn to, that there's a group that can support you, and that there are resources when you need them. And speaking of community and support and resources, that is the topic of our conversation today, is community. As we leaders are supporting our community, we also need support of our own, because that is what pushes us and challenges us, shapes us, helps us to grow. As I started working towards growing my coaching and consulting business, one of the very first things that I did was I started surrounding myself with people that I wanted to be like. And not always did I have access to those people in person or to actually build those personal relationships, especially in the pandemic when we've been quarantined a lot. I haven't really had access to those people and resources that support in personally in front of me as much as I would have liked to. But there were lots of other methods, and this is 2021 in technology. There are so many methods of finding support and resources. So I started doing that. That's one of the very first things I did. I started finding podcasts for leaders that I wanted to be like, people that were already doing things that I wanted to do, that had some skills that I was looking for, that had accomplished some things, or that had failed and were willing to talk about it. The people that I had in my mind of the values that I had and the goals that I had, I started following people who had already done some of those things and started learning from them, reading their books, watching their videos, following them on Instagram, just one quote or one video here, just one picture and comment there, as really powerful as they start to kind of stack up and build on each other and just piece by piece give you this new confidence in your leadership. And well, this is what that did for me. It gave me this new confidence in my leadership and helped me see things in a new way. And I'm not going to get that from just one person. I'm getting that from an array of different people in different areas, different fields, different areas of expertise, different cultures, ways of life. And pulling all of those together is shaping how I view my leadership. what is keeping me from doing the same thing? These are the questions that we start to ask ourselves, and we start to see these possibilities when we surround ourselves with the people that we want to be like, because you're hearing their words, you're seeing their pictures, you're hearing their phrasing, their ideas, and you're just learning. You're picking up little bits and pieces, like a big puzzle that you're trying to put together of, and each person, each leader, each story is just a little piece of it, a little piece of inspiration, a little piece of motivation that pushes you to the next thing, a little bit closer to your goal. And it might even push you to a goal that you didn't realize you had. It might open up some new things in you. But the more you're surrounding yourself with people who you want to learn from, who you want to be like, the more you learn and grow and do push yourself. You feel supported. You feel encouraged. You feel like, I'm not alone in this, or they did this. I can certainly do that. You see these heroes who have accomplished great things and achieved and overcome such significant obstacles, and you can look back and you can see how your story is similar and how you can overcome your own obstacles to reach the dreams that you have. Because I think a lot of times we stop ourselves short of doing great things because we think that we don't have the skills or the resources to do that. But if we just look around us, we can see people who felt that way but chose to do it anyways and pushed through and continued on. And we grow and we learn from each other. We have to have that support around us, because that's how we can start believing in ourselves. If we are struggling in any way to believe in ourselves, we can pull the support of the community around us, even if they're not people you're having a personal relationship with. But then you can't have the people who you have a personal relationship with. You network, you see colleagues, coworkers, people that are in organizations similar to yours that you can ask questions from, people who might be just a couple of years ahead of you, who have gone through something similar. You can ask what their experience was. And maybe they didn't get it right, but they learned from it and they can pass that wisdom on to you, and they can say, oh, don't do it the way I did it because that messed up, or this way worked really, really well for us because we did these things. It's so, so amazing to just have people in your corner who care about you and want you to succeed. People are willing to share their expertise if you just ask. I can imagine that if 3 people came up to you today and said, hey, what do you think about this thing? You'd be happy to share your opinion and your skills and your knowledge and pass that on to somebody, because we want other people to succeed. We really do. We want other people to succeed, and especially the people that we're leading, we want them to succeed because it helps us. We all need support. And you're going to hear me talk about that a lot through this podcast. I've already mentioned it in the last 6 episodes, but we need people around us. It's so important to have resources that we can turn to when things get tough, when we're not sure what we're doing, when we have a big decision to make. We cannot go in this alone. We can't go through life alone. We can't go through leadership alone. And when we do try and do that, we notice that it actually gets a lot harder. And I think a lot of us have this pride in us of, I need to do this on my own. I can't admit to anybody that I don't know what I'm doing right now, or that I feel lost, because they're all looking at me for leadership and I don't want to let anybody down. I also don't want them to think that I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to lose my job. We have a lot of negative talks and negative ideas that come into our mind as um, as we're doing new things, especially because leaders were often the ones who are doing new things. We're often the ones pushing the envelopes, like trying to get to new goals and new ideas. And because we're leading the way, and other people are looking to us for answers and ideas and solutions. And so I think we often take that as a big responsibility and think that we're holding this big weight that nobody else is allowed to hold with us, that it's our weight only to hold, which is just this really big lie that culture has taught us, that there's something to be said for being so independent and doing everything on your own. But here's the thing, is that the greatest leaders have all asked for help. They've all asked for help. They surround themselves with the people who can give them support and encouragement and resources, expertise in different areas. We're surrounding ourselves with people who think differently than we do, who have maybe been through something a little bit more than we have, who might be just a couple of steps ahead of us, who might be years ahead of us, who have paved the way. So as you are growing in your leadership, the very first thing that we should be doing is surrounding ourselves with people that we want to be like. So this is what I started doing when I wanted to first grow in my coaching and consulting business. Is I started listening to people who were further ahead than me, who had paved the way, and who could offer just some wisdom. So I started listening to podcasts. I started reading books, watching videos, using social media. I created my Instagram so that I could follow people who were influencers, but influencers that I admired and that I respected. That I can artistic and creative people that I could learn from and grow from. And it's been really cool how the more I surround myself with the people that I admire and the people that I want to be like, the more it actually does this shift in my mind, and my perspectives and my belief on how much I think that I can accomplish and what I am capable of doing. But I also now have some support and resources to do those great things. And even though I'm pushing the envelope a little bit more now on the things that I believe I'm capable of, like this podcast, I never ever thought I would do a podcast. And here we are, 7 episodes in, you know, being around and listening to other people who were doing these things, I started to believe, oh, this is something that I could do too. And not only could I do it, but I actually do kind of have an interest in doing that. Okay, now we not only just have a little bit of an interest, but I think I'm going to do this. Okay, so I think I'm going to do this. Now, where am I going to start? Okay, now I'm going to start today. That's kind of how the process goes for any new idea and new venture, where it just starts as like this little spark, this little thought somewhere, and it just grows and grows like a seed, right? And I think the more we surround ourselves with the people that we want to be like, the people whose values we respect and admire, the people who have pushed ahead a little bit further, the more we have that confidence and belief to do it for ourselves. And here's the thing, is that even those people who have pushed a little bit further ahead, who could maybe say they've been successful, they surrounded themselves with people who pushed them and who helped them. Nobody has ever reached success on their own. And what's so funny is you're watching these people that you think are crazy successful, and it looks from the outside like they have had it easy and they've just skated through. But you have to know that every single person had to start from somewhere. And we love these transformation stories, right? We love to hear these stories of, I started that from my garage, or I failed 3 times. I went bankrupt 7 times before I finally figured it out and I became rich. Or how many countless stories have we heard of people who failed and failed before they became a success? And everybody's version of success is different. That word is dependent on who you are and what you believe success to be. But what I'm trying to say and get across is that when we can hear those stories and immerse ourselves in learning from people who have gone before us, and surround ourselves with people who support us and can encourage us, we can thrive in ways we never thought possible and achieve things we never thought possible. Like, here I am, 7 episodes in on a podcast that I never, ever thought that I would do, because I started listening to the voices of people who told me that I could do it. And listening to their stories of how they did it when they didn't know what they were doing, when they had to start at the very beginning and struggle through each and every step. I've learned from them and learned from their stories, and they have passed down their knowledge to me in the way that I'm passing this on to you. And we continue to pass around this information and help each other thrive and grow. And if we are not surrounding ourselves with people who can encourage and support us in that way, then we're not giving ourselves an opportunity to really thrive and really make the goals that we have and achieve the goals that we have for ourselves, especially as leaders, because you're the ones who are in front. You are the one who people are looking at for answers, who are looking at for decisions, and you're not going to always know where to go and what to do. But if you have resources around you, and if you have the encouragement and support of others who have been through similar situations, then you are in a much stronger position to lead the way and to make those decisions. One thing that's also helpful is to just see how leaders have thrived and see how they've failed. When you see how they have made decisions that have been good for them and that have helped them, or what they've sacrificed along the way to get there, it gives you this extra boost of motivation and inspiration. And you see also, you watch how leaders fail every day. There's a news story about some leader who has made some big mistake or big faux pas, or they've hurt somebody and they've done something wrong, or they've messed up in some major way. And you can learn from that. You can see, okay, how have they responded to that? How have they reacted? What did they do that led to this failure? And what can I learn from that? Because there's going to be a point when you do fail, and the way that you fail determines what kind of leader you're going to be. But also, we can learn from people and their mistakes, and we can do what we can to try and avoid those particular mistakes. We'll make plenty of them on our own, plenty of our own mistakes, but to be able to learn from others and see, okay, now I know that this is something that I can avoid by doing steps A, B, and C. Having mentors around us that can really support and encourage you, hiring coaches or taking somebody out to coffee who maybe has some similar experiences or is just maybe a couple of years, 2, 3, 5 years ahead of you in what they're doing. I've noticed a lot that we compare ourselves to others and we think, oh, well, they are so much further ahead of me. I am never going to match up. Well, they just started before you. Their journey is different than yours. And you are doing something completely different from them. They are not you. You are your own unique person. And what you have to offer is unique and amazing. So instead of comparing and thinking, oh, I'm never going to match up to that person, why not connect with that person? Invite them out for a coffee or a drink, or write them a letter, or, ask if you can shadow them for a day. Do something that feels scary, but it takes a lot of courage to step out and just ask. You never know when you admire and respect somebody. Sometimes we feel intimidated by reaching out to them because they seem like this big, powerful, almighty thing that you could never approach. But sometimes if we just reach out and say, hey, I love what you're doing. I would love to learn from you. What are some suggestions that you have for me? Could I interview you? Could I come to one of your conferences? Could we help each other in any way or support each other? And I would love to support you too. Even the greats need support, because we all do. No matter what stage of leadership, what level of leadership you're in, you need support. So what I want you to do today is to think through, who are 3 of the people that you admire and respect most. It doesn't have to be people in your same field. It could be people in different fields. It could be a friend or a family member. It could be someone that you don't know. Who are 3 people that you admire the most? People want to support you. They want to be mentors. It validates the experience of a mentor, the knowledge of a mentor, by being able to pass that on to somebody else. So my challenge to you is just that, to seek out people that you admire and respect, that you want to learn from. Surround yourself by people who have achieved things that you want to achieve, who are learning and growing in some of the same arenas that you're learning and growing. Look for, there are clubs that exist, that maybe business or entrepreneurial support groups or nonprofit support groups. And if there are people who don't want you to succeed, then they're not your people and you can move on. If you're surrounding yourself with people who don't want you to succeed, people who are maybe arrogant or selfish because they want to succeed over you, people who don't want to support and encourage and cheer your success on, you're going to really struggle to meet those goals that you have and to feel confident in the decisions that you make as a leader. At some point, if you have to let some of those relationships because they're not serving you, then you might have to do that or set some boundaries with those relationships. We'll talk about that in further episodes. But for now, what I really want you to do is to start surrounding yourself with people that you want to be like and people that are going to support you and cheer you on. Even if you have to do that through social media or start with people that you don't know, start building a network of people who are going to be on your team, on your side, who are going to give you the courage and the confidence that you need to be the leader that you know that you are. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this episode. When I set out to make this podcast, I knew that it wouldn't always be easy, And true to form, this episode in particular, I really struggled to make. And so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you got something out of it because it was a struggle for me. And I'm looking forward to really learning and growing as I continue and just sharing and being honest with you about these things because I think that's valuable for you to hear that other people struggle with things too. And just for a little bit of extra joy, I'm going to add in one of my recorded blooper segments. So here it is. Enjoy. Have a great rest of your day. I'm Kyla Cofer, and this is episode 7. So I have a very special guest with me today. Can you say hello?
Hello.
What a sweet little voice. I say, how are you?
How are you?
What should we talk about today?
What should we talk about today?
I hope you all enjoy having this wonderful voice in the background here as we talk a little bit about leadership and community today. So this is my community, part of them. What's your favorite part about the day?
I don't know.
Did you get something special today?
Candy.
You had some candy? What kind of candy was it?
Candy girl.
Oh, was candy chocolate?
Candy girl.
Did you have candy eggs?
Yes.
Candy eggs? Yeah. For
Yes.
Easter.
For Easter. Rabbit time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you want to talk into the microphone?
Yes.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. What else?
And your dad.
Oh, yeah, your dad. Some of your favorite things, huh? These are a few of my favorite things.
No.
Don't sing that song, Mom. Don't sing that song. This is how I spend my days, trying to find time to record podcast episodes in between taking care of some really cool kids and bringing you awesome content each week. And I know that so many of us have been doing that this year, especially with this pandemic, learning how to take care of our kids at home, doing virtual schooling, trying to manage work from home while taking care of our favorite people. There's always challenges, and when we rise to them, we get great things in life, huh? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, my little mini me, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.